How's it going, space pirates? I am the captain of this fleet, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and today we've got to talk about the supposed leak of the synopsis for the Rey movie that was announced last month. Because apparently, Disney Lucasfilm feels like doing its best Star Wars impression again. They feel the need to dust off their old skin suit, and they're preparing to wear it out for a fun night on the town again.
Jesus Christ!
Naturally, it will be our fault for noticing that it is just a skin suit. They've stolen the veneer of something we loved, cloaked themselves in it, but we still don't love them for it, and they hate us for that. But tough shit, turkeys.
Gonna cry?
The people at Disney, the people at Lucasfilm, they don't understand what they have here. When Disney purchased the Star Wars franchise a decade ago, they had a sure thing. They could have filmed Kathleen Kennedy farting on screen for 10 minutes, slapped the title Star Wars Episode 7 on it, and they would have made $1 billion at the box office for sure. I mean, that's practically what we got, am I right? But the thing is, with their constant insistence on a certain kind of narrative, Lucasfilm shows and Lucasfilm movies have gotten to be as predictable as the sunrise. And that brings us to these supposed leaks of the Rey movie synopsis. The leaks dropped, and not too long afterward, Disney refuted their authenticity, or at least unnamed sources at Disney refuted their authenticity. Now, I don't personally know for sure if the leaks are real or not, but I will say this, they sound real, because by now anyone, even a child, knows roughly what the script for the upcoming Rey movie is. We're going to have a look at the leaks, we're going to have a look at Disney's response to the leaks, and then I'll tell you what I suspect. I think that Lucasfilm is floundering, they realize they're floundering, and they are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. I suspect this is simply them testing the waters with their shitty ideas to see if there are any sharks swimming in there.
I've got a little snack for you.
Let's kick off this analysis by taking a look at the leaks for the Rey movie. This article from Inside the Magic details those leaks. The headline reads, "Synopsis for upcoming Star Wars movie leaks online amid BTS chaos at Lucasfilm." The article says, when it was announced at Star Wars Celebration Europe 2023 back in April that Daisy Ridley would return to the galaxy far, far away in the upcoming Rey solo movie, it was met with surprised reactions from fans worldwide. With some story details having been revealed at the event, we now have better insight into what to expect from Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's new Jedi Order project thanks to a leaked production update. Daisy Ridley herself joined Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy on stage at the event to confirm the news, which came as somewhat of a shock to fans considering the amount of backlash the actress received following her run in the highly controversial sequel trilogy. Still, Ridley seemed excited about the project, with filming tentatively slated to begin in April of next year. And today, a reputable entertainment news outlet listed a brief synopsis for upcoming film, giving us a better taste of what to expect from Rey's return to the galaxy far, far away. I'm going to pause really quick here because, as I said before, Disney has now refuted the authenticity of this leak, or at least unnamed sources within Disney have, but it is worth pointing out that Production Weekly, which is considered a reputable Hollywood source, was the one who first put this information out into the world. This helps inform my belief that Disney was testing the waters. They don't know what the fans want. They don't understand us. They're hoping against hope they can bring the fan base back, and they're putting out information to their Hollywood insiders, their Hollywood reporter buddies, to see how the world reacts. Continuing on, the article reads, in their latest digital issue, Production Weekly listed a start date for filming on the untitled Star Wars movie being written by Stephen Knight and directed by Obaid Chinoy for April 2024. This is clearly the Rey movie, which lines up with recent whispers about the film potentially being the first of the three to land in theaters in 2026. However, more interestingly, they also added a brief synopsis, which seems to be a mix of information reported by other outlets and comments made by Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy and director Obaid Chinoy. However, it does feature details that have not previously been mentioned publicly, including the presence of 2 promising young students in Rey's new Jedi school. Read the full synopsis below. Set roughly 15 years after Rey's victory over Palpatine and the end of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, the sequel delves into Rey's courageous endeavor to restore the Jedi Order, where she assumes the role of mentor to 2 promising young students, a girl and a boy. As their training progresses, it becomes evident the girl possesses extraordinary abilities destined to emerge as a future leader.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer!
Of course, that between the 2 students trained by Rey, naturally, the girl is the one showing all the potential. This is what I was talking about when I said this stuff is so predictable. Tell me this, can you imagine any other script for this movie? Can you imagine any scenario in a Rey movie where she's not training new students and then a brand new girl boss swoops in to show that she's just the bestest ever? The thought that this script would ever be anything other than what these leaks claim to be never even crossed my mind. Some of the finer details may change, but this was always going to be what the movie was about. So now let's look at this article from Gizmodo, where Disney slaps down these leaks. It says, Rey's Star Wars movie is already generating false info. A new, very official-looking report has just dropped for the upcoming Star Wars movie starring Daisy Ridley, but IO9 has learned it's mostly inaccurate. The report comes from Production Weekly via World of Real, which states that a movie called Star Wars New Jedi Order begins production in April 2024 and has a very official-sounding plot description. And then they have the synopsis here, which we won't read again, and the article continues, sounds awesome, right?
How about new?
Well, it's not true. A source at Lucasfilm told IO9 the synopsis is largely inaccurate, save for the Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order thing. The title of the film is also inaccurate and is just using general wording. Whatever the final title is, it's not likely to be New Jedi Order. As for the start date of April 2024, that could hypothetically end up being accurate, but with Hollywood currently in shambles with writers on strike, and maybe soon an actor's strike too, nothing is set in stone. What is set in stone for now? Everything that's already been reported. Charmin Obaid Chinoy is directing. Stephen Knight is the current writer, and Daisy Ridley stars in a story about rebuilding the new Jedi Order. That's it. Well, I'll tell you guys what I think. As I said before, this is likely Disney trying to figure out what's gonna work. I think Kathleen Kennedy is about to be held responsible for losing Disney hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office with Indiana Jones 5, and I think she's desperate to find something that people will latch onto. I'm convinced these companies often use leaks to gauge fan interest in projects. And I don't blame them, actually. It's a smart idea for gathering feedback without actually giving anything away. That's possibly what the Rian Johnson trilogy talk was always about. They dangled information out there, the fans said hell no, and now Rian Johnson will never be given the reins to Star Wars again. In fact, with all of the announced Star Wars films that were never made, and there are a ridiculous amount of them, it is likely that many were just Kennedy testing the waters. I wouldn't be surprised on that note if most, if not all, of the announced movies from Star Wars Celebration ended up not being made at all. In fact, I'm strongly leaning these days towards the Rey movie in particular falling apart. That's why it doesn't surprise me in the least to see a leaked synopsis of Rey's film. That's why, after a few hours, it doesn't surprise me that we see a refutation of the leak. And that's why, in that refutation, we see a shill rag like Gizmodo discussing the writer's strike. A built-in excuse for why the Rey movie will never get made. Always remember that these rags, these shills, take their marching orders directly from the companies that they cover. Disney tells them what to say, and then they say it. But fans are rejecting what sounds like a terrible follow-up to a terrible story. But Kathleen Kennedy's George Lucas skin suit was always ill-fitting. So I don't feel too bad for Kathleen Kennedy, me hearties. By now I'm sure she's quite accustomed to rejection. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.